So for those of you who are not a part of the Katelyn Nicole Davis groups on Facebook, I felt like I needed to share this with y'all, the ones who only really get your information on Katelyn from YouTube and news websites. I noticed that Tammy, Katelyn's mother, posted in one of the groups today, and that was rare because she typically doesn't do that to my knowledge, and this is her for real account. So basically it was a news story. I'm looking at it right now. And it's the news story about investigation continues into Davis's video claims following suicide. And Tammy said, "I have kept my mouth closed throughout this investigation, and until it is over and the right people go to prison for what they've done to my daughter, then I will make one appearance, and that will be on the news for Katelyn, not for no one else but my baby girl, who I love and miss dearly. One day we will all be able to see my sweet angel again." And she got a whole lot of responses, obviously, to that. Somebody said, "This is laughable. You look in the mirror every day at one of the persons that should be arrested." Tammy proceeded and posted another comment and said, "Well, first off, I don't abuse my meds I have to take due to a back injury. And second of all, I took care of all 3 of my kids instead of staying on the internet. You can judge me all day long, but the only thing I care about is what my God says. He knows the truth, and one day we all gonna face him and give our statements to him. Yes, I will admit I was totally out of line in the video you saw, and I should have never cussed my baby like that. But I was stressed to the max. No transportation because what you fail to realize is I was mentally abused also by Anthony, my piece of SHIT husband, who I'm now divorcing. So before you start judging, get all the facts better. Yet do yourself a favor, set a camera in your home, leave it, don't bother to watch it, then post it online for the world to see. Then let's see how many people ridicule your family off the videos, and the ones you don't even know. Bet you won't. Bah ha 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 ha. Y'all's words don't bother me because I've heard them all and really don't care what you all think or say because you don't know the relationship Kate and I had. You have no idea." And for some reason, that last sentence really choked me up. It really hurt me, hurt my heart, just because, you know, I've got kids and I know the special bond I have with them. And I don't know, it hurt my heart. And she does have a point about the camera thing, but, you know, she later on in this thread, I'm going to get to it, admits that she shouldn't have acted a certain way. Because for me, that's, I think, what most of us just want to hear is an acknowledgement. That's it. We just want her to acknowledge that, you know, to admit that she shouldn't have behaved in a certain way. So then Emily responded, "What the F are you talking about? Are you high right now? BITCH, the only back problems you have are from being on it too much. You don't take care of your kids. They lived in filth. They ate hot dogs pretty much for every meal." This other girl said, "Tammy, I don't know how you could even sleep at night. Katelyn's videos don't lie. It's all right there. You failed her." Okay, then Melanie said, "And you weren't just pregnant with Anthony. Weren't you just pregnant with Anthony's baby?" So I'm going to skip a lot of these because they're pretty much regurgitating the same thing. So then Tammy said, "Emily, I haven't been with Anthony since November. I'm divorcing him once again. Get your facts straight. I'll pray for you and you to gain wisdom." And so they're calling her scammy, and they keep going on. So then Tammy said, "I didn't invite Anthony back over. I met him at the park to pick up the kids' gifts from their grandmother. And we didn't stay. We left, only met to pick the Christmas presents up." And then Tina said, "Too bad you didn't start the divorce process as soon as Katelyn told you what he did to her. She might still be alive today if you would have done it back then," shaking my head. I agree with her on that. I mean, how can anybody argue that? She's just stating a fact. And then Tammy said, "Yes, and God is awesome. I've always turned to God." And then Tina said, "And cameras in our homes would show our kids happy, not getting cussed at, and us as their parents talking to them right, teaching them right, and not being high all the time. And us, the parents, taking care of our own children that are our responsibility." She's absolutely right about that. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20 for a lot of people who are raised to have lower expectations of, you know, certain lifestyles and parenting styles. And from what I heard about Tammy's background, it kind of set what went on in the trailer seemed like a normality. I am not justifying it, but I'm just saying other people who had money and nice big homes who could have taken Katelyn, they didn't. I'm not justifying her negligence either. I'm just saying it should be a balanced, fair, even attack. So then Karen Price, who's a family member, she showed the screenshot where Anthony said, "We are expecting." She said, expecting to be back together, and he said, a baby. And then she said, oh, well, I guess if you're together, you won't have to pay for child support. And then he said, paid since I left, but thanks. And then Karen said, sorry, pathetic excuse for a mother. That is what you are. You should be under the jail just as much as Anthony and Luke. One of the moderators in the group, Tina, is in contact with the uncle, Steve Lee Parrish, and he left a comment on her behalf, and it says, this is Steve Lee Parrish. I am trying to figure you out as to why you are now posting and not trying to change your life. I told you while you were sitting on your front porch steps that you need to change your life. Everything I have said to anyone is the truth. I do not need to hide behind lies and BS. I told you standing at Katelyn's grave. This should have never happened and gotten to this point. My opinion is like an a-hole's. Everyone has one. If you had wanted to change your life, you would have started after Katelyn's passing. I was told by a good source that I believe you are still dealing. Why should I lie? It will get me nowhere. Why should I try BSing anyone online? I do not want any recognition. All I am here for in reference to all that has happened since December 30th, 2016 is Katelyn. I thought that once I gave Katelyn a place to rest, that her immediate family would help me keep her grave respectable. But I see that is never going to happen. I don't know who, but I have my thoughts for someone to go to the cemetery plot and take gravel from other parts of the graves and use to try and fix. Yes, try to fix Katelyn's grave. Is sorry, low down, and shows ignorance on their part, but I will make sure without any of you all help to keep Katelyn's grave presentable in the parish plot. I have said before, and I have said now, I hope the hell you all have a place for your ASS to be planted. If not, I guess you will be put in the pauper cemetery across from the high school because neither one of you all will be next to Katelyn. I can rest assure you of that. I and Marie and friends of the internet will make sure the plot is taken care of like it should. And then people just made some really, really good points, and it's just heartbreaking. This whole thread is heartbreaking. I mean, everyone made a point in the whole thread. It's heartbreaking. If you're not a part of this group, I recommend joining it because there's way more information in it than I put out there. As a full-time mother, it is very hard for me to constantly respond to messages, let alone put out videos. So then somebody posted a picture, a screenshot. Emily posted a screenshot that shows that Tammy is still friends on Facebook with Anthony. And she said, Scammy, if you're divorcing Anthony and blame him, why are you still friends with him on Facebook? Good point. So many people just keep making amazing points, like, that you can't really argue with. And that really, Tammy, if I were in Tammy's position, I would be like, look, I understand what it looks like, and that's what it is. I was a bad mother, and I am in a living hell right now for my actions and my negligence, but I did love my daughter. You know, that is the message I would want to send to people if I knew that I effed up, but I loved my daughter. I wouldn't be like saying bah ha 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 and like mocking what people with rational brains are thinking. I mean, she has to understand where we're coming from, and if she doesn't, then that shows that she truly doesn't think that what she did was wrong. Because why would you laugh at what we're thinking if it's sane? And so then Tammy said, I get drug tested by DFACS. So if I was this huge drug addict like all of you proclaim, then why is my life still in my care and not in DEFACS? I'm not sure what that stands for. Custody. This is all I'm saying. I'm not feeding into your drama lifestyle. You chose my home. Was by far nasty. I love my babies and take care of my amazing children. And you all who have kids, what are your kids doing while you're on the internet worried about me and my precious babies? Let's see, when I'm worried about what I watched of Katelyn. Well, first of all, usually when I do videos, my kids are in bed. It's usually at nighttime, then I'll put it out the next day. Or they are behind me on their big art table and they're making books and drawing and painting. Or they're doing their minimum 20 minutes of reading a day. Or they are outside playing right in front of me in the yard while I'm sitting in the lawn chair doing my video, recording. Or, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really, you don't have to be neglecting your kids to be on the internet. I don't know why she keeps acting like if you're on the internet, yeah, maybe if you're like on the internet 24/7, but that's, and there are moms who are like that, but to assume that all of us who are she has to understand when she says worried about me and my precious babies, again, that's where she's letting her ego kind of, she's more worried about protecting her ego than empathizing with where we're coming from. I mean, from a logical standpoint, she has to know why we feel the way we do. Like, she has to know why we would be worried about the other two kids when her other one is no longer here because of emotional torment and being prescribed things that she shouldn't have been on and being neglected. So, like, that's not us being a bunch of mindless, child neglecting buffoons on the internet all day. That's us having hearts, and that's where her empathy should come into play. So, but I understand I understand her being defensive at the same time, because none of us would want to be attacked and accused, especially when we're suffering. But she has to see at least a 5% to understand where we're coming from. So then my friend Ian, who's always super empathetic and nice, he said, Tammy, improve yourself as a human being for your remaining children. That's what Katelyn would want. She loved those kids more than anything in the world. And people just made some, like I said, it's a heartbreaking thread because, like I said, there's really all the hatred and it's all warranted, really. And it's an outcry of regret and sadness because none of it can bring Katelyn back. But I think it's because this person, Tammy was like laughing in one of her posts, bah, ha, 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 put a camera in your house. This really isn't a laughing situation. It left me speechless. Like, I didn't even know what to comment back. It left me speechless from everyone. Not just the whole thing is just so sad. And I don't understand where the lack of understanding on her end is like, and then when she said, I'm going to get on a news station, I'm not going to just talk to somebody for them. Well, I can't speak for all YouTubers. I don't even really consider myself a YouTuber. I can't speak for everybody who's come out and talked about this, but I can speak for myself. And, Matt came to me to interview him. Never mind. I'm not going to make this about me, but, the news is in it for them too. The news gets ratings. So, if she thinks I'm sure there are YouTubers who've been in it for them, but the news is in it for them. So if she thinks that her going on the news is in it for just Katelyn, she's wrong. It's for ratings and money. Unless the news anchor just happens to have a true, sincere, caring, worry about Katelyn and this investigation, which hopefully she does team up with a good journalist. That would be actually really nice if she could do that. So anyway, I don't think she posted again in the group. See, Jamie Lee Fisher commenting about she had a Q&A video with a wonderful, wonderful person named Courtney, who is just the most, she is a treasure trove of information on this case. Her name is Courtney Elwell, and this girl has just the biggest heart, and she has been keeping Katelyn alive more than anyone I've seen other than the Justice for Katelyn YouTube channels. She's just in it for Katelyn, and so if you have any questions, I recommend going to her. But yeah, so that's really it for this video. Hope that kind of gave y'all a perspective that y'all haven't seen before, because I had never seen Tammy comment. So, all right, you guys, good night.